Well, welcome to the next episode of the Window Pro podcast. Today, I have the privilege of talking to Mark Nicol, who owns and manages Brightview Window Cleaning in Melbourne. Welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Thanks, Duncan. Hi, listeners.
It's been a few years. We've interacted a bit on Facebook groups, and it's great to be able to talk to you face to face. So, for those who don't know your business, you've got set up there on the screen, Brightview Window Cleaning. I love the way it matches my shirt, Mark. I love the
Thanks, Duncan.
colour. So, Brightview Window Cleaning, based in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne.
That's right.
So, Mark, I noticed that you got into window cleaning through family. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
So, I'm a second generation window cleaner. So, that makes me pretty proud. So, my father and my uncle were both seasoned professional window cleaners, and I got into the industry through them. I used to help them part-time working on weekends whilst I was working a day job. I was always fascinated about the commercial jobs they were working on, the residential jobs. I couldn't get enough of window cleaning. I just
Yeah.
wanted to learn the tips and tricks. And this was in the days before YouTube. So it was really trial by fire, basically. You were just trying to learn on the job without getting a resource as YouTube to try and figure things out. So that started in the early 2000s
Yes.
whilst working a full-time job. And I went away and started my own career in automotive, both in parts and in sales. And I did that up until 2013. And then
Okay.
was really struggling to find a grip on what I was going to do next. But I knew that I had the experience from window cleaning previously,
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
with my dad. So I guess with the support of my dad and my family, in 2010, I started Brightview Window Cleaning full time.
So, what do you think it was that just kept you going back to it? It could have just been, oh, that's what my dad does, that's what my uncle does, and I'm in the automotive game. I'm just going to push through that. What sort of drew you back to the industry?
I'm not entirely sure whether it was previous experience, whether it was the love of working with my family. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm happy I made that decision to do it as a full-time gig.
So, what do you like about it?
Everything. It's meeting new customers, it's building long-term relationships with them. It's the satisfaction when you roll up to a new job and there's filthy glass, and it's a tangible difference that we do to make the
Yes.
glass clean. And that's the wow factor, is the
Yeah.
smiles on people's faces, the satisfaction they get from your work.
Yeah.
That's really pleasing.
It is a good feeling, isn't it, when they walk around and go, wow, that looks amazing. And you just think, well, I did that. I contributed to that. And
Yeah,
to know that making people happy is paying your bills.
exactly.
A lot of people don't have that satisfaction of making someone happy. They're just doing a job and hoping to pay the bills. So it just does have a really good feeling to it. So do you think the industry has changed since you started?
Oh, yes, significantly, both through technology and equipment and knowledge base. It's really changed.
Do you think when I started window cleaning in the mid 90s, your competitor didn't want to look at you because they didn't want you to basically be friends. Basically, you were a threat to their business. That's how many of them felt.
Yeah.
Today, it seems it's the opposite. Is that your experience?
Yeah, look, that's the great thing about the window cleaning community is there's just so many great people that you can reach out to and ask for advice, and they're more than happy to give you that advice. That's the great thing about networking is establishing new contacts within the industry. Not being afraid to say that you don't know it all, but you're willing to learn, you're willing to find out new things from much more experienced operators.
So, take the last 12 months. Is there anything that jumps out at you that you've learnt new about the industry?
Oh, there's always new equipment coming into the industry. I always try and keep on top of the new equipment. We all geek out about that. If we're really passionate window cleaners, we all
That's
geek
right.
out about that. You know,
Yeah,
I'm either on social media or I'm on YouTube, and I'm just trying to keep on top of the new techniques. And you don't know everything. There's sometimes things that I see Luke, the window cleaner, or I see Steve-O, or I see some new window cleaner, certain techniques, certain styles of doing things that you didn't know previously that you've picked up. So I
yeah,
really like that.
yes. I like the fact you mentioned some of those YouTube influencers like Steve-O and Luke, the window cleaner. I like how they will mix and match the parts from the different brands, take the blue clips off the Mormon accelerator, the flick squeegee, put that onto an X-ray channel, use the Mormon handle in that, and like this whole mix and match. Sometimes it's hard to keep up, but it is fascinating. Do you, with your business down there in Melbourne, does your dad still work with you? No.
So he worked with me part-time right up until a couple of years ago, and then physically just couldn't do it anymore because quite a physical job.
So, do you have a particular niche? Does Brightview specialize in a particular aspect of window cleaning?
I don't think really I've got a niche. I'm like every other window cleaner that's listening to this pod today. We're all good guys. We're all good operators. Well, most of us are. I specialize in residential and commercial. I wouldn't say it's a niche, but my motto is doing jobs properly. No shortcuts, no bull. If I need to redo something or a customer isn't happy about something, I make it right. Customer satisfaction and reputation is the most important things to me.
Well, that's really cool. So, do you think that that then leverages, or you leverage that approach to business in being able to track down new customers?
I do. I try and emphasize quality workmanship, premium quality service, professionalism, reliability, consistent. These are all things that you try and emphasize the customer. But there's a portion of customers these days, Duncan, as that can be price driven, and there's a portion of customers that are focused on a premium provider.
So, what skill set do you use then to be able to sift out the price chasers or the ones who want a quality serviceman for an extended period of time?
I think it's the vibe that you get, Duncan. Being in the industry a while, you pick up things from people and if they're price motivated or they're looking for a quality service.
Yeah, it's generally if people say to me, "Oh, I'm getting three quotes," which is I say, "Sure, go for it." But so often they're the ones who are just looking at the price. They just want
Yeah.
it.
Or what's your minimum price or how
Yeah,
much do you charge per hour or how much do you charge per pane of glass? That's usually key
yeah.
indicators that they're price motivated.
If I remember right, just on socials in the last week, you had that experience, didn't you? How did you handle it? I think
I
they said to you, "What's your price per hour?" Is that
Yeah.
right?
I received a message from a potential customer, or it could have been a competitor. I'm not entirely sure. But what was my minimum price? What do I charge per hour? It's only a small job. It will only take 2 hours, basically along those lines. So I try and be polite with any person that's messaging me because
Mm.
you really don't know the frame of mind of person that you're dealing with these days. They could, if you're not professional in your approach, they could leave you a bad review or
Yeah, yeah.
so. I just replied with what my minimum price was, and I said, "Look, if you provide me your address, we can firm up the price from there." I think
Did,
that's the best way to be.
did they go for it?
No,
No.
it was silence.
But it stopped you from getting all fired up about trying to chase this job that may be a no job at all. So
No,
just
that's
just
that's
having a clear reply
That's the natural reaction as human beings that we have is maybe to get stuck into the person or to get a little bit frustrated. But I think after being in this industry a while and being in sales previously, you've just got to bite your tongue and be professional.
Yes, absolutely. So that being the case, when you've got sometimes difficult clients or they ask, sometimes I guess they ask outrageous questions about what your business, how do you set the boundary so that it protects Mark from a potential negative reaction from these price hunters? How do you set the boundary? What do you do to protect your own peace of mind?
Well, there's a formula that you go through as a business owner, the standard questions. What's your address? What type of service type are you after? When do you want the job done, etc. And then you can really qualify it down to whether or not they're a time waster, whether or not they're price driven, or whether or not they're a genuine inquiry.
So, in other words, what you recommend here, Mark, is that window cleaners running their business have a specific plan in place for how they respond to customer inquiries.
Absolutely. It was no different to when I was selling cars. You have a script. It's not a robotic script, but
No,
you know when to say it, what questions to ask, how to qualify a person, and narrow it down to the information you're trying to yield from them.
that's some good advice. Now, just a quick reminder that this episode is powered by Squeegee app. It's the tool that I use to handle all of my scheduling and customer relationship management. And it even has features like invoicing and quoting that can really make the organizing of your business so much more streamlined. In the show description of this episode, you'll find a discount code for Squeegee app. Try it. You'll really, really appreciate the help it will provide. Proactivity. I like to ask about proactivity. How do you take the initiative in your business?
The initiative is when I'm at a client's job, new or old, is trying to get the next job booked in. Very important to do that so that you've got repeat and ongoing business. The other thing is too is just leveraging on our database through email and SMS text messages. So we put all our customers month by month. So once we've done the job, then we qualify the customer. Do they want quarterly, 6 monthly, or 12 monthly? Then we put it into our database. And then when the new month rolls over, we'll send a reminder out if we haven't booked them as a repeat client.
Yeah.
So that's being proactive, trying to generate business, trying to be consistent.
That's just another Google ad that you don't have to sort of rely on, or a Facebook ad, whatever type of advertising that people are using. You've already got that repeat work. And I think some of these marketing gurus, shall we say, who ring you up and want to talk to you about Google ads and Facebook ads and being on the first page of Google, have no concept that window cleaning is one of those unique industries where we're generating repeat work.
Absolutely.
And we
And
don't
it's
need
all,
to be on the first page of Google every day, 24/7.
no, those are all free things that you can do within your own time. Build a
Yeah,
database, be proactive with your clients. Once you've done a good job, maybe halfway during the job, ask them, would you like me to come on a repeat basis,
yeah,
quarterly, 6 monthly, 12 monthly? Try and feel them out. And then once you've completed the job and in your heart you've done a really good job and the customer's happy, is reading the situation in the room, then asking them, would you like to book your next appointment?
yeah.
That's key.
So this is the Jersey dentist clothes, isn't it? The famous dentist clothes that Jersey talks about on his podcast. So how does Brightview Window Cleaning market?
I actually don't do any paid advertising, Google, Facebook, etc. As I say, I just try and do a quality job, quality of my workmanship, no shortcuts, and I try and get as many reviews as I can. And that's the key, building a reputation, been known for being a quality professional operator. Once you build up a reputation and you've got 50 or more Google reviews, the
Yeah.
work will start rolling in. And
Yes.
then you can leverage off that and build contacts in real estate,
Yeah.
property managers, strata, body corporate. I mean, you could even builders if you really wanted to do it, but if you're desperate.
Who wants a builder's clean? Anyway, I just send them off to builders cleaning companies. And I just have found a couple of companies. I haven't got a clue who runs it, how good they are. But I just say, if you want to builders clean, these are the people that are running around my city doing builders cleans. It saves me from all that stress. So you said about having a database. Do you design your own technology or do you have
Yeah,
a
so
particular?
we use Trello. It's a Trello board whereby as you upload all the customers' information, you can import it via
Yeah.
Excel, and then we make up our own custom boards on a monthly basis.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically a red light system. Green means we've booked them in, yellow means we need to send them a reminder, red means do not contact again.
So it means that you've got a weekly or a monthly job board through Trello.
So weekly and monthly jobs.
Yeah. Don't think I've examined that one. Of course, most who watch the podcast know that I'm a squeegee app devotee, but because that's specifically for window cleaning. But I guess you've got to work technology to suit your business, suit your
Yeah.
style. So that's the key. Now, we talked earlier about equipment and using equipment. What would you advise for a new person starting out as to the basic equipment that they should buy to get started in business?
A ladder is really important being a window cleaner. I come across a lot of window cleaners these days that don't use ladders. So that's probably the first thing, a ladder and a good quality set of trad tools.
So,
Learn your craft, learn trad first, learn how to climb a ladder, learn those basics, and then you can get on to water fed and more stuff.
so focusing on the latter, because a couple of episodes ago, Steve in Perth talked about ladder safety. He came off a ladder and he's killed his career. What are you looking for in a good ladder for a window cleaning? Because you can buy painters use ladders, electricians use ladders, plumbers use ladders. What do you think is a quality in Australia that a window cleaner could buy that would set them up?
My personal preference is Bailey. I've
Yeah.
always used Bailey. My dad used Bailey. Other guys that I know in the industry use Bailey. Gorilla's reasonably good. And there's Innolex as well, which is a company out of Ladder Central. But I don't think you can go wrong with Bailey. It's a really good quality brand, good quality ladder. I've had a Bailey adjustable leveler ladder for the
Yeah.
last 20 years. Same ladder. It's just a really good quality product. That's
Yeah.
probably what I'd suggest with any equipment that you get for window cleaning, whether it be trad or water fed, invest in a brand name product that others recommend.
So you buy your ladder from Bunnings, your Bailey's ladder,
Yes,
but you wouldn't buy your window cleaning gear from Bunnings.
no.
Do you have a preferred traditional brand?
I started on Sorbo. It's a good quality brand. Sorbo is just, it's
David
known.
Baker's favorite.
Oh, Baker's favorite, absolutely. So I started on Sorbo and then I transitioned to Wagtail. I remember my dad giving me a Wagtail to use for the first time and it blew my mind. I was like, how's this going to work? But then I found the advantages of using a swivel squeegee and the techniques that you could apply with that previously there were certain situations with the Sorbo that you couldn't get the job done, so to speak. And then when Mormon brought out their new handle with the adjustable angles, that was just like, wow, this is the pinnacle of window cleaning. So now I use the Mormon product. I don't use the liquidated channel. I use another channel, but I love the Mormon handles. Just with
Have you got the
the,
handle for the wide body?
I did get it, yes, and I had tried it out on a couple of commercial jobs, but it wasn't really to my taste.
I think that's just captured it, Mark. It's our taste. But
Yeah,
start with quality brands and you'll get the feel for what works and what doesn't to suit your personality, your physical makeup, and the jobs that you do.
I would say to all window cleaners out there, experiment with different brands until you find something that you get on with well and
Yeah.
that you're satisfied with and it does a good job. And it doesn't matter what brands guys use as long as it gets the job done well.
I think that aspect of getting the job done well, I love my Unger Ninja for straight pull down. If I've got a high panel of glass inside a building, I can't water feed it. So I have to use traditional. But sometimes there's no spot for a ladder, so you have to pole it. So having the right, learning which tool will be good for a high pull down, or they're all the things that you've just got, as you say, experiment. It's a really good tip with that. How far along in a business life before someone goes into water fed, do you think?
Oh, look, there's no time limit, I think, Duncan. I think that if you've got the experience, just and you've got the budget, just buy a water fed system, buy your traditional stuff, be serious about your business, invest in your business. But it's probably the best thing that you could do for yourself, for your personal development, is go and work with someone
Yeah,
for a day, whether it be a day or a week or a month or whatever. Ask as many questions as you can. Be upfront with the person that you're going to work with. Say, look, I'm not an experienced guy. I want to learn. I'm genuine. Can I come along with you for a day? Just explain that to them and pick up some tips and tricks. Some of the tips and tricks from experienced guys are not always going to be the best tips and tricks, but real world experience is far better than anything that you find on YouTube. Anything you find on the internet would be my advice to you guys starting out. Buy quality equipment, be open to listening to advice from people, don't be a know-it-all, and go and work with someone that's got the experience.
absolutely. And just working with someone, it's the little things that you don't realize that you need to do. For instance, many years ago, a young guy came with me to learn the trade. So he carries the bucket into the house and parks it on the carpet. And he didn't, I said, "Oh, not on the carpet, mate, over here on the tiles, and put a towel down if you're going to put it down." Just, it's the image. They're the little tips that you get when you work with someone and gain experience. So
Yeah, I mean,
they stay with you.
it's not just the techniques, it's the process. It's how
Yeah,
you manage the customer, how
yeah,
you deal with certain difficult situations.
yes. And when we're doing residential, because compared to the United Kingdom, where most of their residential work is external only, now we have an internal external process. How do you do that with a house? Where do you start? Do you start externally? Do you start internally? That's different in every house, it's different with every client. So yeah, some really good things. What would be, like, you've given us some tips on equipment and process. Are there any other tips that you think a newbie would need to lock away so that they can be successful?
Look after your number one tool, and that's your body.
Wow, yeah,
Listen to your body, be exercise through things, listening to podcasts, be through your mental health. Your
yeah,
biggest asset in your working life is you.
yeah. Really brilliant, Mark. I think that's my previous interviewee said he didn't do that for a long time, and he's starting to do that. So that's something that's really important because if we're struggling with our mental health, we're not going to be able to interact well with the client. We're not going
Yeah,
to be happy in our work. Things are going to be a drag, and then money we've invested. will come to naught. So really, a really good point. Yeah. Else that you can think of?
I think just try and absorb everything and anything that you can. Um, Ask questions, um, passionate and enthusiastic about it, and the rewards will follow.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's really been quite an interesting, a very interesting chat, Mark. I've really appreciated like the experience you brought to it. You obviously have a very calm, measured approach to business, and I think that's so crucial. So thank you so much for joining us here on the Window Pro podcast, and I hope that over the months and years ahead, you have lots more success with Brightview Window Cleaning.
Thanks, Duncan. It was a real pleasure to be on. Cheers.
Thank